Prairie Mosiac is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008, the North Dakota Council on the Arts, and by the members of Prairie Public.
Welcome to Prairie Mosiac, a patchwork of stories about the arts, culture, and history in our region.
Hi, I'm Barb Gravel.
And I'm Bob Danback. On this edition, we'll visit a vibrant northern Minnesota dance studio, watch an artist turn sketches into bolts of fabric, and listen to a blues band who's also featured on our series, Prairie Musicians. Recently, a Smithsonian traveling exhibit about waterways highlighted the Becker County Museum's ability to attract high-quality work and to educate students visiting the museum.
I love having kids in here. And normally when the kids come to the museum, they can't touch anything, which is unfortunate. We've been working really hard on getting things that kids can reach out and touch. And there's a lot of interactive items on this Smithsonian exhibit, as well as the Humanities We Are Water Minnesota exhibit, and then the science exhibits downstairs. So the kids can reach out and they can touch stuff, they can turn dials and push buttons and flip panels. And I think that's what kids learn from best. If they can put their hands on it and move it around and read it to each other or quiz each other on, hey, if I lift up this flap, what are we gonna find?
The exhibit upstairs is the Smithsonian Waterways, and it's really important that we have a local connection to that as well. So a part of the exhibit has been trying to really get people involved on a local level, how water affects them, what their ties to water has been throughout their life. So the local part of it is really interesting as well. Downstairs we have set up as somewhat of a science lab where there's some different exhibits, more hands-on things.
They make connections for other field trips as well as this one. They kind of connect all of them as well. I think they are important because the more experiences they can get and the more they see, I think it really solidifies the real world experiences that they get, and I think the exposure to that is really important.
The Historical Society was formed in the late 1800s. They moved into a facility in the courthouse in the 1920s, I believe, and stayed there until the 1980s when they moved into our current facility. And over those years, they've continued to grow and expand and collect the artifacts from Becker County. And of course, our mission is to continue to share those with the residents of Becker County and really represent the people of this county and surrounding areas. We had a really fun instance today that happened on display right now. There's a smaller exhibit on the Audubon Bank robbery, and one of the fourth graders that were here said that was my grandpa, and he was actually kidnapped on his birthday. So that adds another level then, that we didn't know it was his birthday. That's another little extra tidbit of information to add to that exhibit.
We do some community outreach. We go out into retirement villages and nursing homes, and we take our museum to those who cannot come into the museum. I also go into schools and I do classroom presentations for kids on an individual class basis. If they can't all come here at once, I take parts of the museum to them. I also do programs now along with Becky, and it takes two of us to get this museum up and running. We also have some volunteers and some part-time staff that help us as well, but it's a lot of work for the two of us, but together we get it done.
The museum is funded through private donation, and then we are blessed to have some support from Becker County. They fund about half of our budget every year. The permanent collection comes from the residents of Becker County. Sometimes we get contacted by various entities if they've got an exhibit that's touring and we're along the way and they want to try to fill a spot. Waterways in particular was a partnership that the Smithsonian did with the Minnesota Humanities Center, so then they had a granting opportunity. We as an entity had to basically fill out a grant application to get that exhibit in. And sometimes we're just looking for exhibits. Maybe we're doing a transportation exhibit or a sound, history of telephones and what have you. So then you can, as a director, you go and search for those exhibits. I think it's much deeper than people think it is. We're a pretty diverse county. We have, of course, a portion of the county is on the White Earth Reservation, and we have the gut instinct by people is that we're very Scandinavian based, which of course we are, but there's also a strong German community, a strong Polish community, and I think people find that very interesting as they start to delve a little bit deeper and peel away those layers, if you will. If you're doing research, you can come in, and the museum is open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 4, and you're welcome to come into the research library and do your research. If we have staff available to help you. If it's a big project, you might want to give us the heads up, because sometimes we can try to pull some information ahead of time, but the community is welcome to come in.
The kids have been really receptive to it. It's neat to watch them open their eyes wide, see things that they may not have seen before, look at things in a completely different way. When you can talk to kids, especially on a one-on-one basis, and really see that light bulb go on, that that connection has been made.
I hadn't come into the museum until my kids came on a field trip to the museum, and my oldest son came home and he said, "We went to the museum today." And I thought, a county museum, what could a county museum have? And now working here, we basically have everything. We have stuff pre-Civil War, we've got a lot of military memorabilia, everything up to present day items. We've got photographs. Our research library is full of genealogy information, and if anybody needs to know anything about Becker County, this is probably the best place to go, because we've got a little bit of everything, and if we don't have it, we know where to get it.
The small community of Roseau, Minnesota may be better known for hockey, but it's also a community full of young dancers. The dance studio teaches tap, jazz, and ballet, and in the course of their studies, students also develop confidence, poise, and discipline.
5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second, cross.
I'm a Cicchetti teacher, and Cicchetti is French and Italian, so all of my classes are taught in French.
Changement, 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 releve.
I don't say bend your knees to the little kids. I'll say plie. Now when we plie, we're going to bend our knees, so I add the two together. It's very detailed. You've got 3 primer levels, A, B, and C, and then you've got the older levels, grades 1 through 4, and then you've got the intermediate and advanced levels where the kids keep progressing up.
To be able to be in a small community, and especially one as rural and as far north as Roseau, and have these opportunities for our kids to be part of something this spectacular, it's beyond my expectations.
My husband, we were in Illinois, and he was an electrical engineer at Bridgestone Firestone, and I like to cross-country ski. And so I said, honey, you got to get me someplace where there's snow and cold, because I need my seasons. So we ended up here.
Turn, turn, and chasse.
Kids are really into instant gratification. They want everything now. And dance is about working for it and mastering it and getting the technique down.
Lift.
It's not as easy as it looks. You gotta take training, and you gotta be able to do the right foot positions and stuff.
The ballet gives you your foundation for everything that you have to learn how to do. That's where your pirouettes come from, that's where your leaps come from, that's where your extension of your leg and your toe and your knee turn out and your hip turn out. That's where everything starts from. I have a list every fall that starts out with what steps I want the kids to accomplish, and I check them off as we get to them. Everything progresses. The older they get, the more technical it gets. So it's all these little details that add up to getting a better dancer.
It teaches character, it teaches discipline, but also through all that you can see that through all the hard work you can have the fun that comes out when you perform real well afterwards.
When you get on the stage and you actually do what you're told, and then at the end they clap for you, it makes yourself feel good.
When they get it, the smile on their face, that's what it's all about. When they beam and you give them a thumbs up that they got the step, that's better than anything.
I suggest you do a nice little bird arabesque.
I didn't have the body type, I knew that wasn't an option, and I knew I wanted to teach dance. I wanted to be able to bring better things to my dancers. I like to be behind the scenes and creating it for everybody else to see. That's a joy.
Stomp, brush, hop, shuffle, step, roll, lap, step, stomp.
I kind of dissect the songs in counts of 8, and then I pick the class that I'm going to go to, and I consolidate all the steps that they already currently know that they have a stockpile of, and then I pick steps that they haven't learned yet to add in there to keep it fresh for them.
Up, second, up, second.
There's a lot of little tiny details you have to remember. Before recital time, I sometimes get like, what am I doing? Because I get so nervous and it gets crazy, but it's always worth it.
All the movements have counts, so they know they have to get to a certain place at a certain time. And I make them count out the steps when we're doing it, but some of it is innate. Some of them, they have the extra little grace that they do the movements with. Grace is kind of an individual basis because you can have a very technical dancer and you can have a very graceful dancer. And it's a joy when you get both of them together.
Having 2 children in dance that dance at different times, there's a time commitment. There's also the financial part of it, but I think it's worth every penny we pay for it.
You know who's going to want to be in dance class by the amount of hard work that they're putting in. If a child wants to do a solo, they'll be out in front, and they'll put themselves out in front. The child that does not want to do a solo or does not want to be in the front row will put themselves somewhere else. First, we're just going to get our places. I'm not going to make a better dancer by forcing them to do something that they're uncomfortable doing. And if I've got a child who will dance their heart out in the second row, I will let them dance their heart out, because that's going to give me a better class, and it's going to give me a stronger performance if they're dancing where they feel safe at. I'm teaching it, but they have to do the steps, and so they're in control of everything. They're thinking about what they're doing, they're executing it, and that's quite an accomplishment.
It helps with footwork and with sports and stuff. I'm in 4 sports, so just helps out, and it's fun.
Get in your row.
I don't think any dance teacher is a pushover. You can't teach kids without being assertive, because otherwise they'd run right over you. I mean, I had 19 teenagers up on stage during that group ballet number. They all need to be doing the same thing, so you need to get everybody where they're supposed to be doing, and they need to respect you, that you're going to get them to where they need to be.
I don't know if I would be a professional dancer, but I definitely want to continue dancing in some way.
Hopefully, a couple will go on. Some of them, I'm glad to have taught them and given that appreciation so that they will introduce it to their children.
Textile designer Katie Hennagir from Perham, Minnesota, has been able to achieve her dream of having her own successful line of fabric without leaving the comfort of her home. Here's a look into the process that takes an artist's idea from sketch to bolts of fabric.
One of the cool things is that they took my exact handwriting and printed that on fabric. My name is Katie Hennagir, and I am a designer of fabric for Robert Kaufman Fabrics. Robert Kaufman is based out of Los Angeles, California, but I operate out of my mom's quilt shop and also out of my home in Perham, Minnesota. My first concept was a line of fabric that I called Chirp. It was a baby panel that featured a birth announcement square and a lot of birds throughout the whole line. Well, this is an example of when I send the company my proposal. I just did very rough sketches to start with, then gave them a very detailed explanation of what I was envisioning. After getting the first, okay, yes, we like this idea, this concept, they also came back with more ideas of what they thought they could take from my original ideas and make even better. And it was just kind of a collaborative process of them giving me a little seed of an idea and then saying, could you work on something that would use the birds in a different way? And then me coming back with a couple options and then them picking their favorite. When we started with this very basic heart print, I had the option of all of these for design. So I had to decide if I liked the more drawn look or if I wanted a more computer generated look. I chose the drawn look. Then I'm given many options for color. These are the 3 that ended up being printed, not this one. This is the hardest part of the entire process because this is when they ask me to take what I have spent so much time and energy into and what I would say that as an object I love, and then they want me to edit it. So I have to edit it down to just the right number of bolts that they feel a shop could purchase to put in their store. After I approve the artwork for the first time with Los Angeles, and they get down to every little tiny thing. Like if I had said, I don't want these leaves to be yellow, I want them to be green, they would change that. They then send the screens to Korea for the first printing. And the first printing then comes back with just a very tiny strip of fabric. So this is what I'm sent the next time. And you can see here is the fabric. So then I check this for the color. Do I like the colors? Are they a little bit too green, a little bit too yellow? Once I okay it, then they go back to and send it to Korea and say, yes, it's a go. And then that's what's used for printing the entire line in 15-yard bolts. I will tell you that's the most nerve-wracking thing is when the fabric comes to our store. You would think it would be the most exciting time for me. It's the most nervous time for me because I'm always so afraid it's not going to sell. And that would be the worst feeling. Robert Kaufman has really given me the opportunity to do whatever I want to with my lines, to own my lines and, you know, stand behind them. And then they do such a great job of then taking over and marketing it to the stores that, for me, it's a perfect relationship. I do not need to go to LA. I am very, very happy living right here in Perham, Minnesota. A long time ago, I envisioned myself living in New York. I have visited New York many times. It's a great place to visit, but I would never want to live there. I live blocks away from the store. I can go home whenever I want to. It's a fabulous place for my kids to grow up. I'm right with my family all the time. No way. I would never leave.
Erik Koskinen is a wizard at uniquely crafted lyrics for his own brand of American folk music, with a little blues, country, and rock mixed in. He's been performing throughout Minnesota for years and has developed a fan base that appreciates his ability to create musical metaphors of powerful topics.
Will you feel my love through the satellites when the moon and the stars and the traffic lights? Will you feel my love when the world explodes? Will you feel my love when the buildings burn? Will you feel my love when the earth won't turn? Right now, baby, will you feel my love? Will you feel my love when the money's all gone? Will you feel my love when the world gone wrong? Will you feel my love through the satellites when the moon and the stars and the traffic lights? Hey now, baby, will you feel my love? grass, then come the sand, then come the prairie growing over the land. The rivers and the birds and the buffalo, the lightning and the wind and the rain and the snow. In come the native, followed by the train, the army and the lumber and the blood and the pain. Scrape up the soil, cut down the trees, build up some homes and make some families. The roads and the ranches, the farms and the schools, the churchmen and the banker, wise men and the fools strike a deal with the devil. They drill into the ground, oil shoots out, and the folks come to town. And it's a boom town, baby, as poor as it was, making more money than the president does. And I spend it like a child in a candy store. I wake up in the morning and go get me some more. And it's a boom town, baby, money's on the mind of man. The streets of New York to the hills of Pakistan, the history books tell you what it's all about. Yeah, you better hit the road before the bottom drops out. Factories, the stores and the shops, up come the taxes from the bottom to the top. The lawyers and the doctors, the drugs and the crime, and the police ain't big enough to keep it online. No. The whiskey's in the bottle, the bottles in the pub, and the sweet, pretty girls come to dance in the clubs. The workers make it happen every 12-hour shift, and then the town falls apart when the boss pulls the switch. And it's a boom town, baby, as poor as it was. I'm making more money than the president does, and I spend it like a child in a candy store. I wake up in the morning and go get me some more. And it's a boom town, baby, money's on the mind of man. The streets of New York to the hills of Pakistan, the history books tell you what it's all about. Yeah, you better hit the road before the bottom drops out.
If you know of an artist, a topic, or an organization in our region that you think might make for an interesting segment, please contact us at Prairie Mosiac at prairiepublic.org. I'm Bob Dambach.
And I'm Barb Gravel. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Prairie Mosiac.
Prairie Mosiac is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008. The North Dakota Council on the Arts, and by the members of Prairie Public.